Okay, so now i-discuss na natin yung learning activities 2, no? Multiple choice exercises natin sa CAEC 1, no? CAEC 6 module 1. Okay? So let's start. Financial assets at fair value first. So number 1, tinatanong what's the measurement of financial assets held for trade on December 31, 2021. Take note, no, pag sinabi nating held for trading, it means this is financial asset at fair value to profit or loss. Although the point here is that fair value yung measurement natin. Okay? So, bumili siya, supposed to be this is 2021. Hindi ko na-change yung date niya, no? Meron tayong investment dito held for trading. Okay? Ito yung pagbili niya. Tapos, ito yung market value at the end of the year. Okay? So, let's try na gawa muna ng entry, no? Para ma-review natin. Nung bumili ka, again, hindi mo naman kailangan isa-isahin to, no? Since lahat naman siya held for trading. So, ang entry natin, debit, trading securities, nung bumili ka, no? Securities, credit, cash. Okay? Trading securities of financial asset at fair value to profit or loss. So, ang bili natin dito is, magkano yung total nito? 1 million plus 1.5 plus 2 million plus 2.5. So, ang total niya 7 million. Okay? Ngayon, at the end of the year, hahabulin natin tong market price na to. So, basically, yung market price niya is, computin lang muna natin, ha? Kasi meron siyang 800 plus 1.8 plus 1.7 plus 2.6. Yan. So, naging 6.9. So, bumaba siya. So, basically, meron tayong loss dito. So, ang entry natin on December 31, 2021 is debit unrealized loss. Kung hindi mo lagyan ng label, that's understood to be profit or loss. Credit trading securities or financial asset at fair value to profit or loss. So, from 7 million to 6.9, babawasan natin siya ng 100,000. Para yung TS natin, 7 million minus 100,6.9, yung measurement natin at the end of the year is letter A, 6.9. Okay? Next, number 2. Tinatanong niya, magkano daw yung unrealized gain or loss? 2021 income statement. January 1, Gala Company purchased marketable securities to build as trading. 5 million. The entity also paid commission, taxes, and other transaction costs amounting to 200,000. Now, first is, ano yung rule natin dito? Kung ma-remember nyo, initial measurement ng financial assets natin plus transaction cost. Na fair value plus transaction cost except if it is through profit or loss. In this case, since this is through profit or loss or trading, hindi natin i-capitalize. No. Okay? Hindi natin i-capitalize itong 200,000. Rather, i-expense natin siya. So, doon sa acquisition, yeah, just like, gamitin na lang natin to. No? So, in-acquire mo siya at 5 million, debit trading securities, credit cash, 5 million. Okay. Tapos, nung nagbayad ka, so, meron tayong expense yan. Let's say, transaction cost. Ito yung gamitin na lang natin account. But this is an expense account. Take note, no? Expense yan. Credit cash for the transaction cost na magkano to? 200,000. Hindi natin kinakapitalize yung transaction cost or yung acquisition related cost if it is through profit or loss or trading. Okay? So, at the end of the year, naging 5.5 siya. Okay? No securities were sold. And sabi niya, the transaction cost that would have been incurred or to be incurred if binenta natin are estimated to be 100,000. Again, ano yung rule natin dito? When it comes to the fair value na mention natin, hindi natin nililess. Okay? In determining the fair value, hindi natin nililess itong estimated transaction cost na to. That would be incurred in case na ibenta natin yung securities. So, wala, disregard natin yung 100. So, from 5 million, gagawin lang natin siyang 500. So, meron tayong gain. So, ang entry natin, actually, the debit natin ito Tapos, magkikredit tayo ng unrealized gain na 500,000. Okay? Yan. Para from 5 million maging 5.5 siya. So, tinatanong, unrealized gain number 2, answer natin is letter A. And next, number 3. What amount of unrealized gain? Ganun pa rin. Okay? In the 2021 income statement. During 2020, bumili ng marketable securities for 1,850 to be held as trading. Okay? In 2020, the entity appropriately reported unrealized loss of 200,000. So, noong 2020, meron nang nangyari. Ganito. No? Lagay natin ito. Noong 2020, this to place. Bumili ka ng investment, 1,850. Yan. 1,850. Tapos, during the year, December 31, 2020, merong loss tayo. No? So, debit unrealized loss, credit, TS. So, 200. So, ibig sabihin, noong January 1, 2021. Okay, beginning of this year. Kasi ito yung tinatanong, 2021 eh. Ang carrying amount ng ating investment is only 1,650. No? 1,650 siya. So, ang nangyari, by December 31, 2021, ito yung data. Itong cost, pabayaan mo na yan. Kasi yan yung distribution itong 1,850. Yang ito, 600, 450, saka 800. Yan yung pagbili mo before. But it doesn't matter for us. No? Kasi importante sa atin, alam natin, at the beginning of the year, January 1, 2021, yung carrying amount of investment natin is 1,650. Let's identify na lang magkano siya by December 31, 2021. So, pag kinumpute natin ito, 700 plus, magkano pa? 400 plus 900, yan, 2 million. So, from 1,650, naging 2 million. Actually, meron tayong gain dito. So, habulin natin, entry natin December 31, 2021, debit trading securities, credit unrealized gain. Nakabawi siya. Nag-gain naman ngayon. 3. So, magkano yun? 350. 350. Yan. Para, at the end of 2021, yung TS natin would be reported at 2 million, which is yung kanyang market value. Take note na wala na tayong pakialam dito. Sakit. Wala na tayong pakialam dito sa unrealized loss na nirecognize mo in the past. Okay? Because this is true profit or loss. Take note guys, pag fair value, true profit or loss or trading securities, move on na tayo. Okay? Pero tignan natin mamaya kasi meron tayong example ng hindi maka-move on, just like eto yata, tignan natin. OCI. Pag OCI kasi guys, hindi to basta-basta nag-move on. Okay? So, let's say, answer number 3, tinatanong, what amount of unrealized gain should be recognized in OCI for the year ended December 31, 2021? Illusion Company acquired equity instrument of 4 million, okay, on March 31, to be measured at fair value through OCI. The direct acquisition cost incurred amounted to 700. Itong 700 na to, ikakapitalize natin to. Unlike dito sa kaninang trading securities or through profit or loss, hindi kinakapitalize, ina-expense natin. But since this is FVOCI, kakapitalize natin siya. So, ang entry natin is debit financial asset at fair value through OCI, credit cash. Dito muna sa acquisition. In-acquire natin for 4 million. Yan. But meron tayong transaction cost, kakapitalize natin yan. Okay, kasi as a rule, sa accounting, kinakapitalize natin ang transaction cost except for this, through profit or loss. No? Pero pag dito, OCI, okay yan. Capitalize. So, 4.7 siya. Okay? On December 31, the fair value of the instrument was 5.5. Okay? So, 5.5. Ngayon, the transaction cost that would be incurred is 600. Again, no, itong 600 na to, hindi natin siya nire-recognize. Okay? O hindi siya kasama sa pag-compute ng fair value, no? Tayo nyo balikan dun sa concept notes natin yung fair value, no? Hindi kasama ito. So, dito na tayo sa 55. So, ibig sabihin, from 47, okay, lagay natin yung March 31, dun mo binili. Ang carrying amount niya is 47. Ito yon, yung 47. Ngayon, December 31, 2021, magkano siya? 55. So, magre-recognize tayo ng gain na 800,000. Okay? So, ito yung tinatanong. What amount of unrealized gain should be recognized in OCI? That's letter C, 800. So, ang entry natin dyan, debit, ito, no? Financial asset at fair value through OCI, credit, unrealized gain. So, specify mo lang OCI para hindi siya masama dun sa profit or loss. So, 800. Again guys, no, itong account na ito, pag OCI yan, this is a real account. Balance sheet account yan. Hindi natin yan kino-close. So, kine-carry forward natin yan. So, that later, pag may nangyari na naman, let's say, bumaliktad yung gain, i-apply pa rin natin dito sa kanyang account na to. So, again, this is a balance sheet account, stockholders equity, sa reserves yan makikita. Okay? So, number 4, letter C. Tingnan natin yung kung meron dito yung hindi nag-move on. Okay, number 5, tinatanong, what cumulative, kaya tingnan mo yung term niya ginamit, no? Cumulative amount of unrealized loss should be reported as component of OCI in the statement of changes in equity. Although reported siya statement of changes in equity, but yung balance niya kasi, since nasa changes in equity siya, that is to be reported in the part ng equity section ng balance sheet. Okay? Si Judicious Company, bumili ng equity investment. Number of years ago, 3 million sa before. Classified as fair value through OCI. Tapos, on December 31, the cumulative loss recognized in the comprehensive income was 400 and the carrying amount was 26. O, tama, diba? So, 3 million, tapos naka-recognize ka ng loss all in all na 400. So, yung carrying amount niya is 26. Okay? So, dito na tayo. Diretso na natin. On December 31, 2021, the issuer of the equity instrument was in severe financial difficulty. The fair value of the equity investment had fallen to. Naku, naging 1.2 pagid. So, supposed to be from 2.6, ilagay na lang natin dito. December 31, 2020, ang kanyang carrying amount is 2.6. Kaso lang, noong December 31, 2021, naging makana na ng 1.2. So, meron tayong loss na 1.4. I-recognize natin ngayon, ang entry natin is debit unrealized loss, OCI, credit, financial asset at fair value through OCI na 1.4. Okay. So, ano yung i-report natin? Okay, ito, ano lang natin guys, emphasize natin, no? Ano yung i-report natin? Sa balance sheet, magre-report tayo doon ng financial asset at fair value through OCI. I-report natin itong 1.2 kasi 1.2 na lang siya, diba? Okay, take note, this is non-current. Pag available for sale or through OCI siya, non-current yan, take note. Next also, part of the balance sheet, i-report natin dun sa changes in equity and sa equity section ng balance sheet, yung cumulative na unrealized loss, which is part siya ng, sabi natin sa inyo guys, reserves. Magkano i-report natin? Take note, meron ka ng 400 before. Since cumulative ito, dadagdagan lang siya ng 1.4. So, may 400 ka na before, nadagdagan siya this year ng 1.4. Ayan. So, 1.8. So, ang answer natin actually dito sa number 5 is letter B. 1.8. Yun nga lang, dito, sa statement of comprehensive income, part ng OCI, i-report natin doon is yung unrealized loss. Magkano yung unrealized loss for the year? 1.4. Okay? So, pag balance sheet, as of, ito cumulative siya kasi ganun pag real account. Pero pag comprehensive income for the year, magkano ba yung for the year natin? Ito lang. Pero, magkano na yung accumulated natin? Ito na, 1.8. Okay? So, ganun yan guys ha. Kaya ang tanong dito, cumulative. Yan. Kaya tignan mo, parang ganito, hindi siya naka-move on. Hindi niya kinalimutan na meron siyang masakit na nakaraan. 400 na loss. Okay? Kahit na bumawi pa yan later guys, tignan natin. Hopefully makakita tayo dito nang hindi nag-move on. Sa number 6, tignan natin. The statement of changes in equity, what amount to be included in cumulative loss? Okay, tignan natin kung ito yung bumawi. During 2020, knick-knack. Company purchased marketable equity securities to measure fair value through OCI. In December 31, the balance of the unrealized loss is 200. So, may 200 ka ng loss. There were no security transactions during 2021 and ito yung nangyari. Ito yung cost, ito yung ano niya guys, no? Para matrace natin kung magkano siya by December 31, 2020. Okay? Kasi pag tinignan natin yung reporting natin nung December 31, meron kasi siyang cost. Magkano ba yung cost niya? Computin natin ito. 21 plus 1850 plus 1050. Yan yung cost niya. Ito 5 million. Tapos meron siyang unrealized loss na 200 na. Yan natin negative. Kaya yung kanyang carrying amount by December 31, 2021 is 4.8. Okay? Meron tayong 4.8. Ngayon, hahabulin natin itong market. Okay? December 31, 2021. Magkano yung market value? So, compute natin ito. 1.6 plus 2 plus 900. 4.5. So, from 4.8, 4.5. Okay? So, gagawa natin ng entry. Meron tayong loss. Additional loss dito na 300,000. So, debit unrealized loss. OCI. Credit. Financial asset for value to OCI. Which is 300. Okay? So, again, pag tinanong, magkano yung unrealized loss to be reported sa statement of comprehensive income? Itong 300 lang. Okay? Pero magkano yung cumulative unrealized loss to be reported in the balance sheet? Or in this case, ito hindi naman sinabi niya, pero sabi niya si cumulative. So, obviously, it's sa balance sheet. No? Or sa changes in equity. So, meron ka ng 200 before, may 300 ka pa ngayon. So, ang total na is 500. Okay? So, number 6, answer natin is letter A. Next, number 7. Tinatanong, what amount should be reported as loss on sale? Okay, sa sale yung tinatanong niya. During 2020, Opulence Company purchased marketable securities as short-term investment to be measured fair value through OCI. The cost and market value on December 31, ayan, okay? So, the entity sold 10,000 itong B, no? For 150 and incurred 50 brokerage commission taxes. So, pwedeng ibawas na natin agad itong 50, no? Pwedeng ibawas na natin siya sa selling price para net selling price na lang yung i-consider natin. Okay? So, dito, syempre, magiging entry natin, debit cash for the selling price. Net selling price. Magkano ba yung benta natin? 10,000 shares times 150 yung benta natin. 1. Ano na lang muna, sorry. Para mas makita nyo. Cost. December. Okay. Di pinakita. Gusto ko muna sana gawa ng entry ito eh. Kaso lang wala naman tayong hinabol na market value. Hindi natin makita. Anyway, sige. Ito na lang. Sa ibang illustration siguro meron yan. Na? Sige. Gusto ko sanang i-close eh. Kasi meron siya ditong unrealized gain. Diba? Just like yung diniscuss natin sa LA1. Yung itong mga unrealized loss OCI, unrealized loss OCI, unrealized gain OCI na yan. Hindi natin kino-close yan sa income statement. No? Pero pag dine-recognize mo, just like in this case, pag binenta mo, sale. Pag binenta mo yung asset, then i-recognize natin. Ay, pwede pala guys, kasi this sale happened on January 15. Sige. Gawin muna natin ang entry itong acquisition. Para i-simulate natin yung entry na lahat. Financial asset at fair value through OCI, credit cash. Ito yung bumili ka at cost. Magkano ba yung bili natin dito? Ito, compute natin. 300 plus 17 plus 3,150. Ayan. Magkano to? 5,150. Yung bili natin. Tapos, at the end, tama kasi 2020 pa pala to eh. Ito yung market niya. Habulin natin yung market value niya. Lagyan natin December 31, 2020. Magkano ba yung market value? Compute natin itong part na to. 350 plus 1,550 plus 2,950. 4,850. Okay? 4,850. So, ang mangyayari, meron tayong loss. Okay? Meron tayong unrealized loss na wait, compute natin. Ito, minus this. 300,000. Okay? I-breakdown lang natin itong 300,000. No? Kasi later gagawa natin ng entry yan eh. Saan ba galing itong 300,000 na ito? Kay A, pag tinignan mo yung securities ni A, may gain. Na? Loss pala to, i-negative natin Yan, loss yan na 300. So, kay A, meron tayong gain na 50. Tapos, kay B, meron tayong loss na 150. Negative natin. Tapos, kay C, meron tayong magkano to? 200,000. This is a 200,000 loss. Ayan. So, itong tatlo na yan yung breakdown nitong 300,000 na yan, unrealized loss. So, gagawa natin ng entry December 31, 2020, debit unrealized loss. OCI, credit, financial asset at fair value through OCI. 300. Okay? Ngayon, ang nangyari, bebenta na natin si B. This happened January 15, 2021. Benta natin, debit cash. Ito yung kaninang kinumpute natin. Magkano yun? 10,000 shares times 150. Ito sana siya, pero meron tayong 1.5 sana, no? Pero meron tayong cost, selling expense na 50. So, yung net selling price natin is 1,450. Okay? 1,450. Credit natin yung financial asset at fair value through OCI, yung carrying amount ni B. Take note, hindi na ito. Ito na yung titignan natin. Kasi, by December 31, hinabol natin ito eh. So, dito na tayo. 1,550. And actually, meron pa tayong loss on sale. Meron tayong loss on sale. Lugi pa tayo. Magkano yung lugi sa atin? 100. Yan. So, ito yung entry natin. Ngayon, aside from that, since nagde-recognize natin yung B, dapat pati itong, take note, itong ni-record natin na 150, i-close na natin. Kasama dito yan eh. No? Para ang matitira is ito na lang 150. No? So, mga entry natin dyan, debit, retained earnings, credit, unrealized loss. Yan, na 150. Yan. Pag inalis natin yung financial asset, kailangan unrealized loss OCI. Alisin din natin tong unrealized loss OCI para yung maiiwan na lang is only 150. No? Pag inalis mo yan, 150 na lang. Ito yon, yung dalawa. Okay? So, ang tanong dito sa number 7, loss on sale is ito. Letter B, boy, 100,000. Okay? So, let's answer. Ito yung mga theories natin. Which of the following is not a category of financial asset? Saan dito yung wala dyan? Meron tayong to profit or loss. Meron tayong fair value through OCI. Meron tayong financial asset at amortized cost. Wala tayong financial asset held for sale. Number 8, answer natin is letter D, dog. Although dati, ang tawag dito is available for sale. Okay? Ang tawag dito is available for sale. Yun yung mga old terms niya. Pero, walang held for sale. Okay? So, number 8, answer natin is letter D, dog. Next, number 9. As a rule, transaction costs are directly attributable to the acquisition cost of financial assets shall be capitalized. Okay? As a rule, kinakapitalize natin siya as cost of the financial asset. Except, no, yun yung general rule to, kaya as a rule. Except, pag financial asset at fair value through profit or loss or trading securities, in which case, ine-expense natin siya. But number 9, general rule, letter A, capitalized. Next, number 10. Which of the following statement is true concerning recognition of unrealized gains or losses on financial assets? First, unrealized gains and losses on financial assets held for trading, profit or loss. Yes. Kasi nga, financial asset at fair value through profit or loss. Ganyan siya pag trading securities. Second, unrealized gains and losses on financial assets measured at amortized cost shall be included as component. No, this is wrong. Kasi nga, sabi natin, measured siya at amortized cost eh. Pag amortized cost, there's no such thing as unrealized gains or losses. Amortization lang ang meron siya. Okay, so ano daw dito yung true? Number 10 is letter A. Okay? Letter A. Next, number 11. Investment in equity securities or ito yung ginagamitan natin ng cost method. Number 11. Hindi ko rin na-change yung supposed to be 2021 yan what amount should be reported December 31, 2021 statement of financial positions investment in ACE? On July 1, 2021, in previous company, exchange a land for 25 ordinary shares of ACE company. Exchange yung acquisition natin. Meron tayong rules. Diba? Sa first priority natin, fair value of the asset given. Ano ba yung binigay mo? Yung land. Next, kung wala siya, fair value of the asset received. Ano ba yung na-receive mo? Yung ordinary shares. Ito, 25,000 ordinary shares. Kung wala, carrying amount of the asset given, which is yung carrying amount ng land. Kung wala talaga yung dalawa. Let's say, kung ano yung available. On this date, the land's carrying amount was 25. This is the third or last in the priority. And its fair value is 3 million. This is the first or this is the, ito yung pinaka-una doon sa priority natin. July 1, the carrying amount of ACE share was 60. Doesn't matter, this is irrelevant for us. And its market value is 150. Itong 150, this is the second in the priority. Okay? On December 31, 2021, ACE company had 250 ordinary shares and the carrying amount per share is 80. It doesn't matter again sa atin to. No? Wala tayong pakialam dun sa carrying amount ng shares na na-receive natin. What amount to be reported? So, sabi natin, asset given, which is yung fair value nitong land, which is 3 million. So, number 11, answer natin is letter D, dog, 3 million. Okay? Next, what amount should be recorded as dividend revenue? Okay? So, Kinfolk Company purchased 20,000 ordinary shares on March 1 for 720 to be held as trading. Okay lang, financial as fair value through profit or loss, it also applies. The entity received 100,000 cash dividend. Itong 100,000 cash dividend na to, this is recorded as dividend income. Okay yan, 100. Cash dividend yan so dividend income yan. The investee declared a 10% stock dividend. Take note guys, stock dividend is not recorded as dividend income. Tama? Memo entry lang ang ginagawa natin dito. Dagdag share sa atin, bawas sa cost per share. Yun yung effect niya. But this is not dividend income. Okay? So number 12, tinatanong, dividend revenue is only, ito lang, letter C, 100,000 lang. Okay? Ito lang. Next, number 13. Tinatanong, what amount should be reported as gain on sale of investment? Maxim Company acquired 40,000 ordinary shares at 66 to be held for trading. On November 30, ito, nakatanggap ka ng 10% stock dividend. Market price was 250, doesn't matter for us. On December 31, 2020, binenta mo yung 4,000 for... Okay, compute natin. Ito kasi yung nangyari. No? Before, meron ka 40,000. Okay, lagay natin dito yung per share na ano. Lagay natin dito shares. Lagay natin dito yung total cost. Carrying amount ng investment. Cost per share. Ito yung per share niya. Binili natin to 466. Although hindi naman kailangan, pero try lang natin tignan magkano kaya per share siya. 66 divided by 40, that is 165 per share yung bili natin. Ngayon, nakatanggap ka ng 10% stock dividend. 10% nito times 0.10, nakatanggap ka ng 4,000. Pero walang gasto sa atin yon. Libre yan kasi nga stock dividend So, ang shares mo ngayon ay 44. Pero, 66 pa rin. Hindi magbabago yung cost niya. Pero pag tinignan natin yung cost per share, naging 150 pesos na lang. Lumiit. Okay? So, binenta mo yung 4,000 shares So, the gain or loss is the difference between the selling price. Ito yon. Yung selling price is 4,000 shares times, magkano yan? 1 million na pala. Given na 1 million. Okay? Tapos, yung trading securities versus the kanyang carrying amount. Securities. Credit natin. Trading securities. Magkano nga per share? 150. So, yung 4,000 shares times tig 150 pesos each. 600. So, meron kang gain dito na 400. Ito yung gain on sale. So, number 13, answer natin is letter B, boy. 400,000. Next, number 14. What amount of dividend income shall be reported in 2020? Meron kang dalawang dito. Meron kang non-trading investment dito. Tapos meron siyang dalawang dividends. First, the entity owned 10% interest in Bill Company which declared a cash dividend of 500,000 on November 30. Syempre, dito tayo magre-recognize November 30. No? So, meron ka dito. 10% of this which is 50,000. So, ang entry natin doon, let's say on November 30. Kasi kailangan natin siyang i-accrue kasi aabot tayo ng December 31. So, ang entry mo doon, debit, dividend receivable, credit, dividend, income. Para dun sa 50,000. 10% Okay? 50,000. So, okay yung isa. Next, on October 15, 2020, the entity received a liquidating dividend of 100,000 from Clay Mining. The entity owned 5% interest. Take note, guys, liquidating dividend ito. Ang sa rule, ang sabi natin, liquidating dividends are not income, but there are return of investment. So, ang entry natin dyan, debit, cash, credit, investment. No? Not dividend income. So, dito sa number 14, tinatanong dividend income. Ang answer natin is simple lang, letter D. Yung 50,000 lang. The point is, yung liquidating dividend is not income. Okay? Next, number 15. What amount should be reported on September 30th investment in stock rights? Stock rights tayo. On January 1, Scoundrel Company purchased 100,000 shares, 80 per share to be classified as non-trading through OCI. On September 30, 2020, the entity received 100,000 stock rights. So, 1:1 sabi natin. 100,000 shares meron ka, 100,000 rights. To purchase additional 100. So, 1:1 siya. 1 right, 1 additional share. At 90 exercise price. The stock rights had expiration of February 1, 2021. September 30, each right had the market value of, so ito na. The stocks pala yan. So, ito yung stock right, yung market value yung 6. Ito yun, no? 6. So, magkano yung value? So, syempre, itong 600. That is, 100,000 stock rights times 6 pesos. Simple lang naman ang entry natin dyan. Debit, stock rights, stick rights, stock rights, credit, financial asset at fair value through OCI. Sabi nga natin sa inyo guys, is also applies. Sabi niya non-trading through OCI. Which is, you have 100,000 rights times 6. 600,000 na siya. Okay? Letter D daw. Next, number 16. Tinatanong, gain on sale of the rights. Binenta niya yung rights. January 1, 2020, Sinister Company purchased 50,000 ordinary shares, 36, to be classified as non-trading. Okay? Investment in OS to. December 1, the entity received 50,000 rights. 1:1. Each right entitled the holder acquire 1 share. 1:1:1. The market price, 100 immediately before the stock rights was issued and 90 immediately after the rights were issued. So, dito guys, nagbigay siya ng ganitong information. It's because it's telling us na yung value ng rights is 10 pesos. Kasi tignan mo, before na magkasama yung rights, magkasama pa sila, on pa sila, right on, 100. Pero nung magkahiwalay na sila, X right na, naging 90 na lang yung shares. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, yung 10 piso, yan yung value ng rights. And, binenta niya for 15. Simple lang naman. Entry natin, debit, cash. Yung typical entry lang. Cash na 50,000 stock rights. Binenta niya lahat. Wala namang sinabi. So probably lahat yan. 15 pesos, 750. Yung stock rights, although hindi na natin in-entryhan yung pag-debit, pero dinebit yan as presumably times 10 pesos. No? The difference between the right on and X right. So, meron tayo ditong gain na syempre 250. So, number 16, answer natin is letter B, boy. Next, number 17. What is the cost of the new investment if all of the stock rights are exercised? Take note na pag na-exercise yung stock right, yung value na nilagay mo for the stock rights will also form part of the consideration. No? So, cash paid plus consideration. Cash paid plus stock rights in yung total consideration. Valictory Company issued stock rights to subscribe to its stock. The ownership of 4 shares entitling the shareholder to subscribe 1 share. Although hindi niya na sinabing 4 shares, but it means 4 rights. Kasi nga, every share will have a right. So, nandito na yun. So, 4 rights, yan. For 1 share. 100 yung exercise price niya. Vast Company owned 50,000 shares. So, itong 50,000 mo could buy how much? 12,500? Ay, no. Tama ba? 50 divide 4. Boom, 12.5 nga. 12.5 shares yung pwede natin mabili. The shares quoted right on 125 accounted for separately. Ito na. Gagamit tayo ng formula. Okay? Ang sabi natin, ano nga yung formula natin? Since this is right on, may plus 1 yan sa baba. So, yung ating formula ng parity value would look like this. Yung 125 price ng shares right on minus exercise price, yung 100. Yan. Dapat ganyan. 125 minus 100. Okay? Tapos, yung sa denominator natin, ilan ba yung shares natin? Ilan ba yung kailangan natin? 4 rights, no? 4 rights to exercise. Since this is right on, plus 1 yan. So, 5. Yan yung magiging itsura niya. So, pag kinumpute natin, 125 minus 100, this is 25. Tapos, sa denominator natin, 4 plus 1, this is 5. So, pag dinivide natin yan, the parity value is 5 pesos. Okay? So, pag gumawa ka ng entry, let's say dun sa stock rights, debit stock rights, pag recognize natin, credit, wala na siyang sinabi na ano, but this is quoted pero sige na lang, investment in, ano na lang, let's say, OS ba siya? May sinabi, shares lang sige, S. Although quoted siya, supposed to be sana financial asset at fair value to profit or loss. Pero sige na lang, para maging consistent tayo dun sa example natin. So let's say this is 50,000 rights, tig 5 pesos, diba? Ito yon, 250 parity value. Ngayon na i-exercise natin. So bibili tayo ng investment. Let's say investment in ES. Ilang shares ba yung pwede nating bilhin? Sabi natin kanina 12.5, diba? That's 50,000 divided by 4. Ito yun. 12.5. Magkano wait lang. Mamaya na to. Kasi, take note, this is cash plus yung stock rights. Dito muna tayo sa exercise price. Magkano ba yung babayaran natin? Credit, 12.5 times exercise price is 100 So, yung cash na babayaran natin is 1,250. Pati yung stock rights, i-credit natin itong 250 na yan because those will form part of our cost of the new shares. Yan yung tinatanong kasi dito sa number 17. What is the cost of the new investment? That's 1.5. Okay? Kasama pati yung value ng stock rights na 250. Okay? Next, number 18. What amount was debited to investment account for the purchase of additional new share? Okay? So, as a company invested in shares in another entity. So, magkaibang years. In 2020, his company received 60,000 rights. Kasi ito yun 60,000 shares na meron ka, 60,000 rights. To purchase 1 share at 80, 5 rights are required to purchase a share. So, 5 yung kailangan mo. At the issue date, rights had a market value of 5 pesos each. His company used rights to purchase. Ginamit niya lahat? Hindi niya ginamit lahat. Kasi kung 5, sana 12,000 ito no? Yung iba, hinayaan niya ma-expire. Okay? And allowed all the rights not exercised to lapse. So, take note, no? Yung i-credit natin dito ngayon, just like dito, yung ginawa natin. Yung i-credit natin sa stock rights, which will be forming ditong consideration natin, is proportionate din dun sa ginamit mo lang. And not all. That's like 80. I'm not sure. Hindi. That's something like 10 over 12 yung ginamit niya. Anyways, sige. Gawa natin ang entry sa stock rights. Debit stock rights. Tapos credit investment in Hindi sinabi ko ordinary preference, equity securities na lang. Naka-receive ka ng 60,000 rights. Ang sabi, yung value niya is 5. So, that's 300,000. Okay? Ngayon, gagamitin natin yung 50,000 actually. 50,000 rights lang. So, meron tayong investment in ES. Ito yung bago. Pero mamaya na yan. Credit cash muna tayo. Exercise price. Kasi, ang babayaran natin, sa bibili natin 10,000 shares, is magkano exercise price? 80 pesos. Times 80, 800. Tapos, magka-credit tayo ng stock rights. Take note, no? Hindi natin i-credit lahat. Dito sa 300,000, ang i-credit lang natin dito sa 300,000 is only proportionate dun sa kanyang ginamit, which is 50/60. 50/60. No? Kasi 50,000 rights lang ginamit eh. Or sabihin natin 10/12, it's just the same. No? 10/12 or 50/60. So, that's 300 times 50/60. So, 250 lang. Yung 50, hinayaan niya ma-expire. So, yung cost ng bagong investment natin is 1,050, which is, I think this is yung tinatanong niya, no? Magkano daw yung debited? Ito, sa bagong investment natin. Number 18, answer natin is 1,050,000. Tapos, gagawan lang natin ng entry, guys, no? Loss, tapos stock rights. Pag na-expire na, yung iba. Yung 50. Okay? So, number 18, letter B. Boy. Number 19. Tingnan natin. Oh, parang katulad dun sa activity 3B. No? 3C. 5O. Okay, tinatanong niya what is the gain on sale. Okay, tinuro ko na sa inyo to dun sa LA1. Simple lang naman, ilagay natin kasi previously this is 20, diba? And then this is 30, which were acquired at 2 million. Ano ka na to? 3.6. Diyan niya kinuha itong per share, no? Kasi pag kinumpute natin, ito divide this, yan, 100. Tapos ito, 120. Ayan siya. Okay? Kaso lang, ito walang problema ito. Pabayaan na natin ito. Alam natin yan, that's debit cash, credit, dividend, income. Ito, naka-receive ka ng 20% dividend. Ang sabi natin, yung 20% dividend, naka-attach siya dito sa individual transactions. So, ito yung dagdagan natin ng 20% times 0.2. 1.2. Pati ito. Times 1.2. Ayan. Kaya kung titignan mo, lumiit na yung cost per share niya. O, diba? Hindi na 100, 120. 83 and 100 na lang. Ngayon, ang sabi niya, nagbenta daw tayo ng 30. Okay? So, dito sa 30, na binenta niya, yung 24, okay na to eh. Itong 24 na to, dito na natin kukunin. 2 million yung cost niyan. So, yung kulang na lang na 6, dito na natin siya kukunin. No? So, magkano siya? Itong 3.6 times. I-proportion na lang natin, guys. So, times 6,000 over 36,000. Kasi 36,000 all in all to eh. Yung 3.6. Kukunin lang natin yung 6,000 dyan. Or 2.6. So, yung total cost pala nitong 30 na binenta is yung 2 million coming from the June 1 na acquisition, 2 million. Tapos, yung 6,000 coming from December 31 na 3.6. Ito yan. Kaya, yung total cost niya is 2.6. So, pag nag-compute tayo ng gain or loss, the selling price, which is 30,000 times 125 versus the carrying amount Ano ba to? Hindi sinabi. Trading securities. Yan. Pati guys, yung FIFO average also applies, no? Not only do sa cost method natin, but it also applies doon sa ating financial asset at fair value. So, 2.6. Selling price versus carrying amount. Yan yung ating gain on sale. Ma-minus lang natin yan. 3,750 minus 2.6. 1,150. So, number 19, answer natin is letter A. Okay? And sagutan natin yung mga theories. Dividends are recognized on the date of declaration. Take note, kung kailan establish yung iyong right to receive, and that is the date of declaration. So, number 20, letter C. Next, liquidating dividends are credited to the letter A. Investment account. Hindi siya kinekredit sa income. Take note. Hindi siya income. Return of investment. Binalik ang investment mo, credit investment account. Next, number 22. What is the effect of stock dividend of the same class? Wala tayong entry. So, no effect siya sa investment. But, since dumami yung shares mo, kasi nadagdagan, liliit yung cost per share. So, number 22, answer natin is letter C. Naman, stock dividend of different class naman ay na-receive. May entry tayo, tama? May entry tayo, magde-debit tayo ng bagong investment account and i-credit natin dun sa original, no? So, kukuha tayo ng portion from the original, ibibigay natin or ilalagay natin sa bagong investment account. So, number 23, answer natin is letter D, dog. Now, number 24, shares received in lieu of cash dividend. Ano ba sana? Yun yung importante. Cash dividend, di ba? In lieu of cash dividend sana. Pag cash dividend sana, income yon. Kaso lang shares yung na-receive mo, edi debit mo yung investment account at fair value. Okay? Income siya. Number 24, income. Kasi cash dividend sana. At the fair value of the shares received. 24, letter B, boy. Pero number 25, cash received in lieu of stock dividends. Stock dividends sana. Pag stock dividends, hindi siya income. Tama? But rather, ang gagawin na lang natin as if, no? As if yung stock dividends were received and such stock dividends were sold at the amount of cash received. Okay? So, number 25, letter D, dog. As if the stock dividends are received and subsequently sold. And may gain or loss tayo. Okay? So, yun lang muna for LA1 ng module 2 ng KX6 natin. Okay? So, now, of course, you could proceed to making your learning journal kung meron ka man lang natutunan. Kung wala, bahala ka. So, next, after which, syempre, pwede na kayo mag-proceed dito sa ating ba't ang dami nito? LA3.